Well, and thanks again for the opportunity. So the fifth story is the most dangerous and most troubling story of the month. The Union County Democratic Committee has followed in the footsteps of Middlesex County's Democratic organization by canceling their elections this year. Wow. So just to put this in perspective, for those of you who don't know what the party committee is or what it does, these are neighborhood level offices. It's the most grassroots office that exists in New Jersey. Every single election district has two seats in both parties. They're elected in the primary, usually every 2 years. And it's the type of thing that's a great entry point into politics, kind of representing just your little area of your town within the political party. They do have significant power when it comes to elections in terms of deciding who gets the party's endorsement and the favorable ballot position that comes with it. But also when someone dies in office or gets promoted to a higher office or gets indicted and leaves office for bad reasons, whatever the case, the party committee gets to fill their seat for the remainder of the year. So we see situations where, for instance, the Assemblywoman Nancy Pinkin became the county clerk. Her seat opened up. Who gets to decide who gets to join the New Jersey Assembly? Well, it's those party committee people that are elected by their neighborhood. And so obviously these positions are important. And that's why so much attention is paid to them and why people want to run for them, but they are like more manageable types of things to run for. So people who are just getting started in politics, instead of running for Congress or governor, they can run for their neighborhood rep position and actually get into the party apparatus and be able to be making decisions about their town and their political party. Well, in Middlesex County last summer, in the beginning of the pandemic, the party committee members themselves voted to cancel next year's elections, which is now this year, 2021 elections that were scheduled for all, I think it's 1,200 seats. I think 1,230 seats here in Middlesex County, supposed to be elected in the June primary. That has been canceled. Even though these folks ran for and won 2-year terms, they said, you know what? Let's just make our terms 4 years. And they actually got away with it. They said, we're going to change our bylaws to double our terms. They did this on a phone call. And they said, we're canceling the 2021 elections, and we're not going to have another election until 2023. And from now on, we're going to only run every 4 years instead of every 2 years. Permanent change. They cited the pandemic, and they said that they were inspired by get this, Republicans to do this. Because here in Middlesex, we have a system where the Republicans would have their elections in the even numbered years, and the Democrats would have their elections in the odd numbered years. The Republicans were the first to make a move, and they said, we're going to delay our elections till next year. So no 2020 elections, but we'll do them in 2021. And then the Democrats said, well, if the Republicans are having their elections in 2021, we can't have ours at the same time. We'll have to delay them a whole 2 extra years and just double the length of our term and not have those elections till 2023. Well, now Union County has followed suit. They took a vote this month to do the same exact thing. They were supposed to have elections for all their hundreds of seats this June, and the power players that run that party were able to get a change to the bylaws that cancels those elections and permanently doubles the length of their terms. So now in Union County and in Middlesex County, every single Democrat, more than 1 million people probably, just lost their right to vote or run in these neighborhood level grassroots elections. This is a sign of fascism. This is a serious problem when elections are canceled or delayed. We have seen some terms extended and things delayed with Board of Education, with a mayor's office in Wrightstown, and also a election they forgot to have in Highland Park for council. But this is something that is more widespread. This is, we're talking about 2 years of missing out on the elections. And it's being done in this moment of the crisis, with the pandemic being used as an excuse to take away our rights to run for office and to vote for office. So I am currently seeking legal counsel to bring a lawsuit against both of these political parties to stop this and restore our elections. If you'd like to help, please reach out to me. My info is not hard to find. It's at the bottom of every article on newbrunswicktoday.com. But we are going to not take this lying down. We are going to fight, and we are going to defend our democracy.
Wow, this is huge news. This is basically a coup d'etat at the local level. You always hear the saying, the famous saying, never let a crisis go to waste.
Yes.
And they sure did not let this COVID crisis not affect what they wanted. You know, this reminds me of when Bloomberg voted himself or convinced the city board to give him another term. And in return, they gave themselves another term. So, like, what do you think there will be any political consequences for all this? What this is? You said there's 3 different organizations. You got the Union County, which is where I am, and then you have these other boards. You think there's any political consequences, Charlie?
I'm going to work hard to make sure there are. I mean, I think that not enough people know about this yet.
I did not know about this.
Yeah, no, and you know, to be fair, not a lot of people know about the party committee to begin with, but it is such an important grassroots tool for activists who are getting started to be able to run and be able to participate in these elections. And the power players know this, and they know that it's a vulnerability for them, and they would just as well rather not have the elections. So I think it's incumbent on everybody who knows about it and understands it to remind people constantly. So I always have here at my desk the list of all 10 of the bylaws committee members from Middlesex County who pushed this decision, and I call into the county commissioners meeting and I read that list so that everybody in the county knows who's responsible for taking away their elections. And again, we're going to hopefully have this come before a judge and let a judge decide whether this is our democracy or not. But yeah, I have the list right here, and I've got, you know, the 10 people to blame for this. And we're going to make sure everybody knows in their towns that the reason you don't get a choice this year is because of these people.